I think people made a little bit too big a deal of Kelsey Mitchell not being mentioned at Stephanie White's introductory Fever press conference. There was the three that were in attendance. Obviously, they're going to be mentioned. That being Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Lexi Ho. And that's exactly what Stephanie White did, is mention those three.
So humbled, so thankful, grateful, and excited to lead this franchise and taking it to another level. You've got incredibly talented players right here in Caitlin and Aaliyah and Lexi, a team that was incredibly fun to watch, very tough to game plan against. So I'm glad I'm going to get to work with you guys, work with you ladies, instead of having to think about how to stop you. The future is so bright, and our ultimate goal is to hang another banner in the field house. And our ultimate goal is to come back in here after we win that championship and celebrate again like we did in 2012. So I just want to thank everybody for coming. Really excited, really looking forward to this, and can't wait to get started.
So she mentioned those three by name. Those three were in attendance. She also mentioned a core three of the Indiana Fever, and people were wondering, what that core three was. I had to assume, and I did assume in the moment, that she was talking about Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Kelsey Mitchell. No offense to Lexi Hull, but she is a good role player. I don't think people had thought of her as part of the core three before.
Ryan and Kelly, you're just talking about, players and evaluations before we came out here, and building quality depth is going to be important. When you have a core three like we have, surrounding them with players who are going to, fill the roles, certainly, first and foremost, who are going to embrace the roles, secondly, and who give us the best opportunities for success by complementing what they do really, really well. We have seen in this league's history, how difficult it is to win a championship. The margin for error is small. The margin for error is small. When you're building teams, it's not about always just getting the best players. It's about getting the best complement of players who fit well together, who play well with one another, who work to bring the best out in one another. I believe truly in my heart that connected teams are winning teams. And so people who fit, players who fit the culture of the Indiana Fever and where we are and where we're moving towards.
Those were the comments that made people think Melissa Smith could be on the way out the door, amongst other things. But that core three, to me, obviously implied Kelsey Mitchell. And for anybody who was worried, Stephanie White did mention Kelsey Mitchell by name later.
Indiana Fever, and to be able to come back and work with another 22, a generational player in Caitlin Clark, a generational player in Aaliyah Boston. Certainly, when you think about back-to-back Rookie of the Years and what each of those players have done up until this point for their universities, in the game of basketball, for the women's basketball culture and community. It's unprecedented. And to be able to work with those guys and Kelsey Mitchell, who I think has weathered the storm of Indiana Fever basketball, and I felt like had the best year of her career, this year. And really, when you think about teams, you think about a core three, right? You think about a big three, and to be able to work with that big three, and continue to work and put pieces around them to compete for a championship, back in my home state, it couldn't have aligned any better.
Big three. And she mentions Kelsey Mitchell. So confirmation, Kelsey Mitchell was part of that big three. Apparently, Kelsey's part of another big three, though, over in China. That's why she wasn't there, guys. She's in China playing for, I think, the Flames, it is. And, the Chinese women's hoop show here has a video of a big three over there on that team. That's how they captioned the video. That is. So there's the play and the reference made. One of those other players plays on the Connecticut Sun. But yeah, Kelsey Mitchell's over there playing for that team in the Women's Chinese Basketball Association, the Flame. And I think she's also doing hotel commercials from what I've seen, that Kelsey is getting busy over there, hopefully getting the bag as well. Hopefully getting the bag because, it'd be nice if she is indeed in these hotel commercials, as you can see right here. I don't know about the music, so I'm going to lower it. They got some highlights going on. Those are WNBA highlights. Let's see where the ad actually go. There we go. Apologize, I can't read that, but it looks like it's an advertisement for the hotel that she's staying in over there in China. So Kelsey's put out some nice messages. I saw they gave her flowers when she got over there. She's gotten her flowers from Fever fans in recent times over the course of this past year, and it's been a long journey for Kelsey Mitchell. She's had to grind it out over there with the Indiana Fever on some bad teams, and now she's finally getting that big time recognition. And it works out well for her timing wise because she's also a free agent. So there's going to be a degree of uncertainty whenever somebody is a free agent. But the Fever organization has made it clear that their number one priority is bringing back Kelsey Mitchell along with any other free agents they target. I mean, and that's been said by the new regime too. It was said by Amber Cox to a reporter yesterday. So that's not, old news. That is new news. They are on the record saying that. Obviously, Kelsey was at that Pacers game with Caitlin Clark, where they look to be enjoying each other's company. Kelsey has been extraordinarily complimentary of Caitlin Clark, calling her C squared, and giving reverence to what Clark has done as a basketball player and an influence on the sport. And, I just don't see any reason for Kelsey Mitchell to go anywhere else unless there's something personally motivating her that I don't know about, or some sort of monetary discrepancy that I am almost certain is not going to be an issue. And Kelsey's just fun to watch cook. She's fun to watch play. And I think a lot of people developed, an attachment to this Fever team on the basketball court last year, the way Kelsey's able to get buckets and score. And then also on top of that, the personalities, because it was a very professional team, conducted itself well, extraordinarily likable. And I think that goes for Kelsey as well, that core group of players that we saw, very, very likable. And Kelsey, an all-star this year, has been an all-star before, but beyond just the selection to the all-star team, the stage that she is on in Indiana is much greater. I mean, I don't know how it played into what she decided to do this offseason, but you see Lexi Hull in these commercials. You've seen Aaliyah Boston on billboards. And I think the more that core stays together, that big three with Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and Caitlin Clark, the more opportunities for the players not named Caitlin Clark to capitalize on being a part of that team and playing alongside her. And the better chance for the Indiana Fever to win if Kelsey Mitchell is in uniform, because it's tough to guard all three of them, especially if you have a balanced team that's playing defense and is shooting around them. That's going to be a problem now that they got Stephanie White as coach too.